The tips in this video get progressively more advanced. Stay until the end to see techs that even many of the highest ranked players still don't use. Securing trooper souls can be difficult with guns that have low fire rate or slow bullet velocity. In these cases, use melee to last hit minions. Meleeing guarantees the full soul value and makes early lane farming much more consistent. Boxes and golden statues have a chance to drop souls and buffs when destroyed. Make sure to break them during downtime or when rotating around the map to get extra resources. Buying items not only gives their effects, but also increases your weapon damage, spirit damage, or HP based on its category. Something to keep in mind when building is that there's a massive investment spike at 4,800 souls. A general rule of thumb to follow is to use your first 10 to 15,000 souls to hit at least 2 of these spikes. On some characters, even rushing all 3 is recommended. Sinner's Sacrifices spawn at 8 minutes and are the most valuable jungle objective for the souls and buffs they provide. Time a heavy melee to land at the exact moment all the lights on top are lit to receive 4 golden statue buffs. A good way to consistently get the timing correct is to start your heavy melee when there are 3 more lights to be lit. If you're in a hurry, a light melee will also grant you 1 buff. When farming jungle camps or breaking boxes, you'll gain unsecured souls. These can be spent just like normal souls. However, if you die, all of them drop on the ground and can be picked up by anyone with a heavy melee. If you're carrying a large amount, play carefully and look to spend them as soon as possible. Dropping a big stack can completely swing the momentum of a game. In an even game, the urn drop-off point will be directly across the map, allowing enemies to contest fairly easily. However, if your team falls more than 10% behind in net souls, it becomes a comeback urn. You'll know this when you see a green arrow on the minimap icon along with colored candles around the urn itself. In this state, the drop-off point shifts much closer to your side of the map, making it significantly easier to secure. When this happens, prioritizing the comeback urn is one of the best ways to stabilize a losing game. Make sure to utilize jump pads and movement text to optimize your travel time. Additionally, if the enemy has a comeback urn, look to deny it and protect your lead. The enemy comeback urn will have a red arrow on the minimap and red colored candles. After you drop the enemy patron, all enemy respawn timers are reduced by 20 seconds with a minimum of 10. Unless you have a huge advantage, it's usually better to retreat, spend your souls, and take enemy resources instead of overextending. This lets you siege again with an even larger item advantage instead of giving the enemy a chance to recover. By crouching off a zipline, you can preserve the speed you gain from it in a technique called Zipline Momentum Conservation. If you jump off a zipline, your speed will return to normal. However, by crouching instead of jumping, you will maintain the velocity gain. Zipline Momentum Conservation allows you to do this easy rollout to get to mid lane faster. When combined with a dash jump, you can cover huge distances for fast rotations or aggressive engages. It even allows you to bypass movement locks on abilities like Pocket's Barrage, Warden's Last Stand,
This is where you fall.
and Lash's Death Slam.
You don't got what it takes.
Sliding down ramps increases your movement speed. Use slides to get around the map quicker and more efficiently. Additionally, slides can destroy breakables. Incorporate sliding into box runs to improve your efficiency. When executed well, you are able to clear the boxes underneath mid or in the subway station super fast. Slides can be chained by doing a quick jump and sliding again. This is possible when you have a substantial amount of velocity, allowing you to maintain momentum. Try to chain slides after dash jumps, ZMC, or jump pads to cover massive distances across the map. Slides also grant infinite ammo. Using slides while farming jungle camps can dramatically increase your efficiency by getting rid of a lot of reload downtime. Additionally, weaving them into fights lets you output more damage since you'll need to reload less often. When used to their highest potential, slides can grant double, triple, or even infinitely more ammo per mag. Think of ramps and slopes as ammo resources and use them whenever possible. If you hold crouch when climbing a ledge, you'll automatically slide when you reach the top in a technique called Mantle Sliding. This gives you an immediate burst of speed, infinite ammo, and makes you harder to hit. Get in the habit of using Mantle Slides pretty much every time you climb anything. Strafing allows you to control your aerial movement by letting go of W and using A to turn left and D to turn right. If you take a jump pad and only hold W, you won't be able to control where you land. However, if you strafe, you will be able to smoothly control your movement when airborne and even increase your movement speed. Strafing doesn't only work in the air, it can also give you additional control over slides and jumps. A good combat tip is that you can parry guardians. Successfully parrying one briefly stops its damage, giving you extra time to hit it. A parry can also be used to take minimal damage from them when diving an enemy. A unique aspect of parry is that its cooldown resets on a successful deflection. Parrying players, towers, and even minions will give you a new one instantly. Double parrying is extremely strong as many players will be baited into meleeing after your first parry expires. This becomes especially useful during mid-boss fights where everyone is trying to melee the crystal. Walker stomps can be avoided by being above the tower. Abilities like Lash's Grapple or Warp Zone allow you to dodge it even in close proximity. Similar to Guardians, successfully baiting a Stomp briefly stops its damage, giving you extra time to damage it. Think of walls as a movement resource. When you're near a wall, press jump in any direction to launch off of it. Or move towards the wall if you want to mantle on top of it. Wall jumps are incredibly efficient as they don't cost stamina on the first jump and only take half a bar on the ones after. Use them in common spots like reaching jump pads or to leave the secret shop. Wall jumps can also be used to maintain momentum. If you're already moving fast, bouncing off a wall will preserve that speed and extend your movement chain. You can even chain together multiple wall jumps in the air, allowing you to travel even further. Walljump chains are especially useful on heroes like Lash to remain airborne to stall for a big ult. When mid-air, you can down dash by double tapping crouch. When used, you will fly straight downwards, only using half a stamina bar. This is perfect for situations like mid-boss fights where you need to drop into the pit relatively quickly. Heavy melee also doubles as a movement tool. It suspends you in the air and gives you a burst of horizontal momentum. Use them in conjunction with wall jumps to get to high ground. Heavy melees even allow you to gain additional height in some cases. They're also excellent for farming. Heavy melee deals AoE damage, letting you clear jungle camps faster and hit multiple enemies in larger camps. Weave in heavy melees when farming for max efficiency. Corner boosting is a niche movement tech that gives you a burst of vertical height by wall jumping off the top corner of an object. The easiest way to pull one off is by mantling on a thin sign and jumping as soon as your character starts falling. Another way to do them is by performing a light melee, climbing over a railing, and jumping on the way down. These versions of the corner boost are useful but require a little bit of setup. Hitting them naturally is also possible. With enough practice, you can significantly increase your survivability and rotation speed by using them. Instant air dashing is the fastest movement tech in the game, not including ziplines and vents. Spamming them is much faster than standard dashes and dash jumps. To perform an instant air dash, you have to time your jump at the exact same moment as a dash. Using any of the keys above your spacebar as a secondary dash key will help you hit instant air dashes very consistently. This is even more apparent on Bucket 1 heroes or if you have Stamina Mastery. They are so strong because they allow you to ignore drag, unlike in a normal jump dash. Spam IEDs quickly to escape fights or chase down enemies. Normally when you dash or dash jump, you won't be able to shoot your gun. However, during a correctly executed IED, you're able to continuously fire. Vent wall jumps are a high-level tech that boosts the speed you get from vents. If you wall jump at the exact moment a vent launches you, you'll stack both speed boosts. To execute one, mantle up to a vent as close to a wall as possible. Then, time a jump at the same time you get launched by the vent. When done correctly, you will gain far more momentum than a normal vent would give you. You can check out of Doorman's hotel guest with only 1 stamina. By using a drop wall jump, any character can avoid taking the extra damage even if they have no stamina to start with. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, make sure to like, sub, and comment. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next one.